What's up, you guys? ShartimusPrime here, doing another video talking about COPPA. And I'm going to make this probably the most unique video that I have seen on the internet talking about this, because there's a lot of misinformation out there, and I think I can clear things up because I've done a lot of homework. First off, if you're of the age of 12 or younger, please leave. Come back when you're 13, alright? And I'm being very serious right here. The government will find out. So, if you want this channel to still be here when you're 13 years old, you'll come back when you're 13. Because I've uncovered some new information here and they'll find out, alright, man? So please, if you don't want to hurt me and you don't want to help kill this channel, you'll come back when you're 13. I am being 100% serious right now, okay? That being said, I want to clear up the misinformation. I've been misled by misinformation, and I've spread misinformation, and I apologize for that. None of that has been done intentionally, and I'm making this video to try to clear things up, and I'm going to try to make this video concise as possible, because this is my fourth attempt of trying to make this video without rambling on too long. But there are a lot of very important points that I need to make here. First off, 3 things. If you're a content creator and you make a substantial income off of this, 3 things that you really should do aside from the petition and all that stuff, and I'm going to get into it a little bit. First off, watch the 45-minute press conference that the FTC hosted with the chairman. You know, that video where he says shooting fish in a barrel with the YouTubers? Watch that whole thing, because after he gives his speech, the press, there's a Q&A portion, and the press asks a lot of very good questions there, especially about how the FTC is going to enforce this rule over here. So watch that and read the documents, okay? Right here is the complaint, all right? And Charlita1, I'm giving credit for going through all this, because this is what really shows what YouTube was getting hit with. And then this right here is the stipulated order, and this is basically the findings, the punishment, and what YouTube has to do in the future, alright? And there's a lot of misinformation here, and a lot of things were cleared up for me after reading this stuff and watching that 45-minute video. The Child Online Privacy Protection Act, it's basically there to protect kids. That's what that is for. The FTC is there to enforce that law. The FTC is not the bad guy here. However, for us older cats that remember the Napster days, the FTC was the bad guy, and they were cracking down on people. And that's one reason why so many of us are terrified right now, because we do know for a fact that the FTC will come after people. And they will, alright? They made it very clear that they will. Okay, but there's some things that I found out right here that could help keep us from getting sought after by the FTC. But at the same time, we're not totally out of the woods by any means here. And please keep in mind that I am not a lawyer, alright? If you want to get a lawyer, get a lawyer. This is just my opinion and my personal findings on what I've read over here. This is very similar to the stuff that I used to have in my career previously from YouTube. I mean, I worked for the government. I have 3 years experience working in government, and a lot of this stuff is very similar to the staff reports I used to work on when demonstrating to the Planning Commission for one of the municipalities over here. So I have experience doing this, and it reads in a very similar way. I'm not a lawyer, though. Just take it for what it is. What happened here and who is the bad guy? Basically, YouTube was collecting data on children 12 years and younger. That was not illegal at all. That's not the bad thing that they did. The bad thing that they did is that they're supposed to get parental consent for that data collection, and they did not do that. Alright, there's a lot of other details around that they also didn't do, but that is where they went wrong, is that they didn't put out they didn't put out a disclaimer about children's data being collected or get consent from parents. Alright, now how did the FTC find out about this? Because if you have a YouTube channel, if you start an account, you have to be at least 13 years of age or older. So how did they get all that? So how did the FTC find out that data was being collected if you have to be 13 to sign up for an account? Well, YouTube. Yeah, YouTube outed themselves. Why would YouTube out themselves? Greed. So they outed themselves by presenting these PowerPoint presentations and these graphs and all this stuff to Hasbro, to Mattel, numerous companies, trying to get ad space, selling their ad space, and demonstrating like, hey, look, we have all these 6 to 12-year-old viewers over here. We have all these 2 to 9-year-old viewers over here. We're the #1 place for children's entertainment. And they basically just outed themselves, and these child advocacy groups went and got this whole thing started and went to the FTC. It actually went to the Department of Justice, but I guess they're caught up with the whole impeachment thing. They didn't do anything for 45 days, so then it goes to the FTC. Now, they paid $170 million, and they have to follow those rules from now on. So they already started putting this stuff in place with the parental consent. Another thing that the FTC has made YouTube do is have content creators designate whether their content is made for kids or not made for kids. This whole thing with it being put on the content creators is not YouTube's fault, all right? That's the FTC specifically wanting content creators to self-designate themselves as made for kids or not made for kids. The overall goal here from the FTC, and again, the FTC is actually not the bad guy here. I have 2 little girls, all right? A 2-year-old and a 5-month-old. I have 2 kids. I want the FTC to be looking out and protecting my children. What they want is a platform of YouTube videos that are safe for kids. They just want a safe place for children to watch YouTube videos. That's their intent. That's what they're going after over here. Okay? Now, by doing that, one way to get there is by having the content creators designate themselves that way. Now, if you violate that, that's when you can really get in trouble, all right? Now, in the 45-minute video, they talk about how they're going to find channels that self-designate themselves. So they're going to do a sweep. They made it very clear that they are not going to use an algorithm. The FTC and YouTube are not the same. Now, for content creators like myself that have been doing this for a long time, when we get in trouble, and I say get in trouble, when YouTube comes after us, it's a very cold and harsh way of doing it, right? It's a very broad, expansive way that they go about doing things, a very impersonal way. Well, this is not YouTube coming after us, it's the FTC. They stated that they are not going to come after us in that same fashion. They are going to use the same way, the same tactics, the same practices that they used when they went after YouTube. And the way that they went after YouTube in this complaint is they went after, in this particular document, they have 13 different cases, at least 13, I think I may have counted it wrong. But they have these different cases over here where they have specific ways of finding out that it's meant for kids, and a lot of it is from self-declaration. A lot of it's channels that are saying that they have the best content out there for children, videos made for kids, kids stuff, you know, kids reviews, kids unboxings, things like that. These are all based off self-declaration from the content creators and the rating system by YouTube. Now, I didn't know this until I read this thing, but YouTube actually has a rating system for the channels. I think it's for all the channels, I don't know. But there's a whole rated G, rated Y, rated X, you know, like there's a whole system right there, and I don't know how I can find out what rating my channel is, because that's one thing that the FTC has taken into consideration with these different cases. Now, a lot of us assume that the FTC doesn't know anything about technology, or they don't know anything about the internet or YouTube and stuff like that. That's not actually the case here at all. If you read this thing, it's funny hearing them talk about Powerpuff Girls and Little Baby Bump and stuff like that. Check this one out. They use Hasbro as an example. Hasbro's popular YouTube channel shows episodes of many animated kids programs, including My Little Pony, Littlest Pet Shop, and so on. The channel's content regularly appears on YouTube Kids and has been featured on its home canvas. According to the channel owner, the target demographic for My Little Pony is ages 5 to 8, and the Hanazuki show is aimed at children ages 8 to 10. That's a self-designated thing that they're using here against Hasbro. All right, that's just one example. So this whole thing about the disclaimer not working, it actually may do some good. All right, just in case it doesn't hurt But if your channel is important to you or it provides you enough income where you want to keep it, try it. It may help. It may come in handy. Also, in some of these cases, they look at the About tab on a lot of these channels. The FTC is actually being very thorough about how they're going about doing this. The other thing to keep in mind is that who are they going after? The FTC is a government agency. As someone who's worked for the government, and the good people that work for the government don't want to use taxpayer money. When they collect these fines and they have these fees, they put that into the agency. They're putting money back to, they're giving money back to taxpayers. So when they're going to go after people, they're going to go after the big fish. We are little fish. I am a tiny speck. I am nothing compared to Ryan's Toys reviews or the Hasbro channels or all these bigger channels. They're going after the big dogs over here. Our action figure collecting community is extremely tiny. Dude, I think I have the highest subscriber count amongst action figure collectors, and it's only about 500,000. These other channels have many millions of subscribers, so we're still just tiny over here, which is one reason why I'm going to cancel the Sud Rally. I thought it would just be really fun and funny to do, but I don't want to show up on the FTC's radar. And doing a public display like that might bring unwanted attention, and I might shoot myself in the foot by hosting that thing. So, Sud Rally is canceled. However, I will still be at Carl's Jr. this Friday at noon eating a cheeseburger, and if you want to join me, I'll be there. And I'm going to still show up at noon just in case people don't see this video. So, I'm still going to be there at noon. Have a burger with me. We'll talk action figures. It should be a cool time, alright? Now, getting back on point, the FTC sweep is going to be different than how YouTube does things. Again, they said they're not going to use an algorithm. They're going to look at these things individually. They're going to go after the big fish first. Does it mean that I'm totally in the clear over here? Absolutely not! Alright? I'm just saying that it's not as dark and scary as I originally thought. Also, the $42,350 fine. They say in that 45-minute press conference that it will be up to $42,350. That's the most you can be fined. They describe that they are going to use a multiplier in fining the channels. It's a revenue multiplier. So what they're going to do is they're going to see how much money you made from children's viewership on your channel and fine you based on that. Again, if you're 12 years of age or younger, get the fuck off my channel because it's going to get me in trouble. I'm going to get fined that amount, alright? Come back when you're 13, but get the hell out of here right now. I'm serious, man. They will find that information, and that's how they're going to use that. So if I have this video, say it only earns me $100, and 20% of my viewers are definitely 12 years of age and younger, then I'm going to get charged, I'm going to get fined based off of that 20%, that $20. Now, I don't know exactly how the multiplier works. They're not releasing that information, but that's how they're going to find people. It's not just a flat $42,000 per video. I don't think I'm going to go to jail for posting action figure reviews anymore. It's not an $84 million fine. It's a lot less than that, but it could still be very damaging. Again, we're not out of the woods here or anything like that. Changes can be made by December 10th. So we have to get active in talking and communicating with the FTC. The FTC will listen. Again, the FTC is the government. They're not YouTube. Corporations don't listen to people really. They look at money. You know what I mean? They only listen to people when we take money out of their wallets. The federal government's different. They'll listen to us. Again, this is being all put on content creators because of the FTC, not YouTube. So it's like in some ways YouTube is the bad guy, but in other ways they're not the bad guy over here. And I just want to clear this stuff up. Okay? The channel deletion thing, a lot of misinformation about that as well. The channel deletion, another YouTuber had talked about how that was already there. And they're right about that. I was misinformed thinking that the channel deletion thing was based on this whole FTC ruling. It's not. That was already in place. But we're not out of the woods with that because So, and that's more for stuff that are channels that are posting inappropriate content that will never be monetized. Like, say if you're just like ripping porn off of Pornhub and you're throwing it up on YouTube, right? It's going to get flagged. It's going to get deemed adult content. No one's going to see it. It's not going to be commercially viable in any kind of way. Eventually, they're just going to delete that stuff. That's what that's for. But we're not out of the woods here, because in that terms of service page, it also says that channels that are in violation of the law can also be deleted. So if you're violating the law, aka not following COPPA rule, then your channel can get deleted that way. That's how they're going to delete your channel, as if you're breaking the law. Alright? Alright, so what to do in the future and how I'm going to move about in the future. I'm going to continue posting content on this channel for as long as I possibly can. Alright? If I have to move everything to Patreon, and I'm slowly doing that right now just in case, I will. But regardless, I'm going to still do everything I can to keep posting content on YouTube. Alright? Overall, YouTube has been very good to me. They make dick moves, of course. But you know what? Nothing's perfect. And overall, the grand scheme of things, YouTube has helped make this dream job possible, okay? How I'm going to go about moving in the future is continue with the disclaimers. I'm also going to clear out my about section and make it very clear that this content is for adult collectors, alright? I recommend you do the same. However, again, I'm not a lawyer. Handle it your own way. Imagine your video on YouTube Kids. Does it belong there? Are you talking about children-directed content? Is it made for kids? I do have some videos on here that I do think are made for kids. Another thing is, I'm not checking the box for my channel to be, you know, overall the umbrella tab for the whole content of my channel to be made for kids or not made for kids. I'm clicking the last one where it's a case-by-case thing, because there are videos here that I will say more appropriately belong on YouTube Kids. Another part of the whole ruling here is that the FTC wants YouTube not just to have YouTube Kids as an app, but to have it as a website as well, right? A lot of rules put into place. Like I said, for the next 10 years, what the findings say, or what the stipulated order says right here, basically is that the FTC is up YouTube's ass for the next 10 years. The language right here is not clear. Keep in mind, out of the 5 commissioners, 3 of them voted for this. 2 of them dissented, alright? And one of them actually, their dissent is based off of the language being too broad, and that there should be more clarification as far as the operators. Now, we need to keep in mind, what could really help things here is if the FTC clarified what is child-directed content and what is child-attractive. There's a big difference between those two things, right? Child-directed is like a blippy YouTube channel where clearly all the cartoony, super kiddie stuff is all in their face and everything. Child attractive may be talking about Spider-Man, you know, like a $400 Spider-Man figure could be attractive for a 6-year-old to look at. However, that is not intended for kids. It's intended for adult collectors. So that distinction needs to be there, and we need to ask the FTC to revise that in their revisions that they'll be making, that we'll be seeing by December 10th. So please leave a comment at the FTC's website. I have a link in the description below. Also, sign the petition. The government looks at this stuff. Again, it's not a corporation. This isn't Sony and Spider-Man and all that crap. This is the government. They look at this stuff, all right? So sign the petition. Send a comment to the FTC. Be respectful to the FTC. These people are not dicks, all right? They are not trying to hurt people. They are not trying to hurt our community. They actually have a whole section there where they want a public response. They want the public to respond, and they have all these questions like, does this fulfill the scope of COPPA? Is this doing damage outside of COPPA's intent? They have all these questions. They want to know what kind of effects this is going to have. So they're not dicks. Don't write to them like they're dicks. Be respectful to them, okay? And then lastly, honestly, it really helps a lot when people go to Patreon. You know what I mean? It makes me feel like I have people in my corner, and a lot of you have jumped on there. I still don't know what's going to happen to this YouTube channel in the future, but regardless, I will be posting, alright? So I will always be here. I'm not going away. I'm going to do everything I can to stay here, but as much as I try to make this channel legal, if I still have kids coming here and this channel is breaking the law, due to the YouTube's terms of service, I could get deleted by violating law. Alright? So, if you don't want this channel to go away, if you're 12 years of age or younger, get out of here. Alright? Please support what I do here. I mean, if you find it valuable in any kind of way, I recommend you support what I do here. 1% of my subscribers is more than enough. I'm looking for 2,000 patrons. 2,000 patrons would have me set where I could do this stuff ad-free and not have to worry about getting ad revenue, okay? Now, some people are maybe really curious about why I'm so stingent on continuing to do this. It's because this is a dream job of mine. You may not think it's a job. On your end, it's super easy. You click a button, the video's, 7 to 10 minutes long. On your end, it's only 7 to 10 minutes, but for me, it's many hours. I spend over 40 hours a week producing this content, and that's where the money goes to. That's what is the biggest cost for me, is spending that time producing the content. If there is a way to create quality content without spending that much time, trust me, I would do it, because the hours I spend editing is not the funnest moments of my life, really. The money that I have to spend in the equipment costs a lot. My camera is breaking down. It keeps shutting off on me, even with the batteries fully charged, and I have multiple batteries. The camera is dying. My laptop is dying. I need new equipment constantly. I always need to buy new lights. I make monthly payments on my iCloud, so I have all this data storage. There are a lot of expenses on this channel that have nothing to do with collecting. The buying of the figures is one of the cheapest aspects of maintaining the channel, actually, alright? Especially because I get samples. That really does go a long way. And I do this because I love it. First off, I'm also a musician. One reason for that is because I love connecting with people. This YouTube channel helps me connect with people. I love my viewers. I know I have to ban the 12 and younger viewers, and it's really sad and hard for me to do that because I love meeting all my viewers, but I have to follow the law if I want to keep doing this, and I love doing this. I love connecting with people. I love producing content. I love making videos. I've been making home videos since I was 7 years old, all the way in through high school and stuff like that. I'm a huge dork, man. I was a nerdy kid. And I love collecting. I've been collecting my whole life as well. And I get to produce my own music. I create my own music that I put on this channel. So there's a lot of passions wrapped into this. And the fact is that I think this channel actually does good outside of myself. I think it helps people. I know it financially helps people in making decisions on purchasing things, but I think for a lot of mental health reasons, I think this channel does a lot of good. I've had people tell me that in suicidal times, I've helped them bring them out. I've had people tell me that while in the hospital with illness or surgery, I've helped entertain them and made them happy during hard times. People that have lost loved ones have told me that this channel has helped them. Men and women that have served, I've only heard it specifically from men, but men have told me that this content helps them in these crazy, difficult situations that I'm thankful that I don't have to go through, and thank you for those who serve that are out there, but my content helps entertain them and keeps them positive. So there's a lot of good that this channel does, and if the 1% of my subscribers can really back this thing and keep it alive, it's not just doing good for me and keeping my dream job alive, but you're helping other people too. Hopefully this video helps clear things up. Make sure you sign the petition, make sure you leave a comment to the FTC, be kind about it, and I will have an action figure review, not talking about any of this stuff at all, on Thursday. And I'm not going to talk about this stuff in any other kind of video, hopefully for not until December. I'm hoping to not talk about this again on this channel until after December 10th. Alright, you guys? So, If there's anything that I said here that was incorrect, if you read through these documents that Charlita 1 and I read through, and you watched that FTC video, the press conference, and I have anything that I've stated here that is not true, or you feel like it needs correcting, please correct it in the comment section. I will look at it and I'll pin it and do what I can to raise awareness of something that I may have said incorrectly here. But I'm trying my best here to clear things up. Hopefully this eases some nerves just a little bit, but again, we're not out of the woods here. Shit's very real. Shit's very scary. And hopefully I can keep taking fat shits and whacking it and subscribe, pinch and mangs, alright? Trying to stay positive over here, you guys. Thank you so much for watching. I'll catch you guys later. Peace! Hey, new ShartimusPrime videos. Hey, you should click one. Yeah, click on one of them. Or subscribe if you haven't.